First of all, so much of what you do is very, very beautiful. So that's really great. Congratulations on that. I want to ask you, what do you think is the most challenging aspect of performing this piece, specifically?
For me, it's feeling grounded.
Uh-huh.
I think with all the going around the cello, I have a tendency to get feel suspended, and so that's something that I've been working on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with performing in general, but especially in a piece like this where it's so exposed, and one feels very exposed performing this piece. The hardest thing is to trust yourself. The hardest thing is to believe that you really know it, and so that you can really let go. And I think one of the things which I think you're not using, which will really help you, is a kind of rhythmic impulse, and that can really help ground you. In a way, when I'm practicing this piece, sometimes I feel like the metronome is my best friend. Yeah. In a way, because this is something really to hold on to. So if you can really have your own inner pulse, your own inner conductor. Because of course, when you play this with orchestra, you can't guarantee that the conductor is going to have a really strong rhythm. So maybe you can rely on him or her, or not.
Yeah.
All right. But so you have to rely on this core inner pulse. So can we try the very opening, and I'll just show you what I mean. If I play it kind of thinking of letting the melody lead rather than the rhythm, I kind of feel like I can kind of make it work, but it feels sort of off, out of proportion, out of just kind of off kilter. If I really think about a pulse in advance, even of what I'm doing, so dum bum bum. It feels infinitely easier. Okay. Can you just try that once by yourself? First phrase. You're still letting the melody lead. And also, if I could ask you a favor, and I think we've talked about this before, don't look at your left hand when you're playing. Really give it out. So, okay? Much better. Infinitely better. You had real pillars of rhythm that time. Can you play with her now, and maybe just play a little bit more, so that you can really be like an orchestra? All right. Really good rhythm. Great. Much better. Can you really collaborate with each other as if, I know we're talking about orchestra, but now try to imagine you're playing a sonata together. So you really have to lead together, really play together, okay? Or 1, 2. Give it out. Great. That's excellent. It's already much, much better. However, now I want to ask you, do you realize you're leaning on every 2 beats? Do you want to?
Probably not.
No, okay, good. So really think about the phrase in advance now with having your pillars of rhythm.
Okay.
Hard, don't rush. You know it. You can trust it. Let it sit on the rhythm. So it's an interesting kind of dichotomy, right? Because the rhythm grounds you, but yet it's also going to drive a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
but yet you can't rush the little notes. So you see there's several things going on at once,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Da da dee da 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 dee da da dong. You can really sing that
Okay.
within this big pillar, right? Try once more, and then we'll add a little bit to that. Try. Give it out, give it out. That's nice. Good. Do that ba-dee-da-dee from there, and I dare you not to look at your fingerboard. Okay. Good. Now, da-dee-da. Enjoy the top. Don't be afraid of it. Yes. Great. That's fantastic. It's much better. What is the character?
Kind of glorious and
Yeah.
like sunshine, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. I think glorious, that's a very nice word. I think also joyous. That helps the kind of rhythmic character too, because right now it feels a little heavy. I think there's a wonderful lightness about Haydn, right? The other thing I would like to ask you, you talk about some stylistic things of the classical period. So what, if you're teaching me, if I know nothing about it, what would you say? About some string playing stylistic things.
Well, I think it's really gestural.
Mm-hmm.
So there's points like what you're saying about emphasis and release.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anything about vibrato or about expression and how you use the vibrato?
It's probably more inside the sound of the bow than
Right.
over like romantic. So
Exactly. Even the very first note that you're playing, you're kind of using let's say what we sort of think of as a more romantic kind of vibrato. So I mean this, it's not really that. It's really more, if you could put the vibrato into the bow, as it were. So it's more up,
okay.
right? So remember the pillars of rhythm, and give it out. It makes such a difference when you don't look at your fingerboard.
Okay.
Huge. No, you looked at it. Sorry. I'm gonna be mean about it. Great. Could I ask you? Could you play it with your first finger once? I might feel weird, but just try it. Right. Doesn't need to have much vibrato. Just put it in the bow. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Let the rhythm help you. Yes. Very good. Go on. Go on, go on. About visualizing when you're shifting?
I hadn't really thought about it.
No? You can kind of think it's like mapping your fingerboard in a way. Not looking at it literally, but if you imagine in your mind. So if I do in a slow motion. Okay, so I overshot it. Because you know it very well, so you can trust that. So again, coming back to trust. If you visualize it in advance, you won't miss it. So, and hear it in advance also. You hear the pitch in advance. So it's not like, oh no, I'm coming to the shift and I'm so afraid, oh, am I going to get it? No, it's not going to be like that. It's because you know it in advance, it will be very easy. So it's like really like leading with your mind and then letting the fingers just follow.
Okay.
If you lead with your fingers, that's another reason why I don't like you to look at your fingerboard. Then you lead with your fingers and the fingers are blind by themselves. Yep. Try it again. Yeah, exactly. And let the rhythm help you. Okay. All right? that the kind of sound you want on the F sharp? All right. Visualize the sound that you want, where it is, and the pitch. All right. Once more. You were afraid of the second one. Right, go for it.
Okay.
You have all the time in the world. Also, she's not playing anything. You have the time. It's kind of almost like a mini cadenza.
Okay.
So you have the time to do it. And the other thing, which I really like, here you were building a very nice crescendo, but I think it's not quite enough. So. When you get to the B minor, it should really mean something. Right? Try. Once more. Could you do the full bar before she comes in? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry to stop you there, but make sure that even if it's a gesture, it still fills out the beat. All right? So take the pulse from her. 2, 3, 4. Very good. More. Don't be afraid. Yeah, that was very good. I'd rather you do that. It makes a lot more musical sense. Now try it once more so you can get it really, really on the head. Great. That was wonderful. But now can you bring us back to E major? Dynamically? All right? Now more crescendo, more crescendo. Great. What kind of character do you want here?
It's a little more boisterous.
Yeah. Right now it feels a little bit calm.
Okay.
All right. Can we try something? Can you try? Right. It's not heavy. It's kind of grabbing the string and then letting it go immediately. So not. But it's kind of. It's like if you're pulling a slingshot, and you have to pull it hard, but then just let it fly. Okay. Yes, that's better. Right. A little bit closer to the bridge, I think. Yeah. I like the sextuplets much better. However, the scale up, how are you practicing that at home? So that you feel really secure with it when you're performing it.
Oh, I'm trying to feel secure with the bow each octave, so every arrival to the D, and then I practice it in groups of the octaves.
In groups of rhythms.
In groups of the octaves.
In groups of the what do you mean by that? Great. You could even go further with it. So like so. And then holding the second note. It's where you really teach yourself the patterns, you know? And so the groups of 4, and then the groups of 8, which is good, which you're already doing. That's excellent. But this, you kind of reverted back to the heavy and more careful way of playing. So I could hear sort of every thought in your mind. If you can really think in groups as well when you're on stage as well. So that way, we were talking about visualizing and mapping ahead of. If you're thinking of every single note, you're guaranteed to miss one. Okay, so can you try to do the scale by yourself once and really think about the groups in advance, like you can see, like you've got a flashlight on the map ahead, right? Sure, you can do that one. Good. Now, but can you really show me the character that you want? Yeah, this one I always feel like is really bubbly, and it's sort of bubbling with anticipation, and it's about to finish this very, very big gesture. So can it be a little bit more with a little bit more anticipation and excitement? Right. Now, the way to do that so that you don't lose yourself in the process, think of like a rhythmic excitement. So can you try once more? So like 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. You were doing so well, and then you looked at your fingerboard and you played out of tune. Try again. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now you remember what happened, right? Because your finger kind of fell off. So now you know. Do it once more and fix it. Okay. Can you curve the finger a little bit more when you're up high? Yeah. So here. A little bit more on the inside of the string. Even when you're practicing, don't look at your fingerboard. I think it might.
I'm gonna fall off when I
get
too curved, so that's why I've been.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I think you might be better off with this fingering. Thumb here. It's a little bit more secure. How does that feel? Does that feel better?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to practice it, of course, to feel secure with it, but try it out. Experiment with it and see how you feel. All right. Try the scale once more with you, and really feel that rhythmic excitement. Now this is much too weak. This has to be really, really open and very strong. Okay. I want you to let it all go. Really, really go for it. Once more, and play closer to the bridge so that you can really get this clear as a bell sound. With a little bit less vibrato, putting the vibrato into the bow. Yeah. Can you think of it as more of a longer arc?
Yeah.
Right now I'm feeling every beat a little bit, if you know what I mean. Okay? Good. Could I ask you to play a little bit more? So you're replaying with the violins. Yes. Very nice. Close to the bridge. You have to show the end of the phrase a little bit. So, can't go. Then no one will know you are. It's gonna be a little bit freer. All right. Close to the fingerboard again, it's going to get a little bit muffled. So if you want the echo, and here, you have, what happens here?
Change of harmony.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to show it. So this is maybe your lowest point. So then you have this big crescendo. Try it. Da da dee doo dee. Right. I didn't hear any difference. What dynamic do you want to start?
I was actually going to be a little more on the diminished, but
try once a little bit less. Yeah. A little bit more. Every time a mistake happens, you look at your fingerboard, then you screw up the next bit. You see? It's like you get 2 for 1 in not a very good way. You know what I mean? So if it happens, you have to accept that it's going that something might happen, and then you just go on. All right? Don't let it throw you. You know this piece so well. You have to trust that you know it extremely well. Right? You can try once more. Very nice, but I think you need to be a little bit more, so you really leave yourself the room for the diminuendo.
Okay.
All right? Can you try? More. No. You died way too soon. Try. Yes. Right. I know you want to be lesser, but it's a little bit, again, going to the, let's say, not quite the right language, stylistics. Yeah? Do it with the bow, not. So. There's a kind of a purity to it. You know what I mean? So maybe come a little bit closer to the frog. I like it that you're out, but maybe you're a little bit to the middle. And then let it ring. Once more, not quite so much vibrato. to let you go. Bravo. Great work.